So, photosynthesis happens in the chloroplast of the plant, and there's two stages um, in photosynthesis. So, there's the light reaction and the Calvin cycle. So, the light-dependent reaction happens in the thylakoid membrane, which requires sunlight to occur, and then the Calvin cycle happens in the stoma fluid, which does not require any light to have the process go on. The Calvin cycle uses the energy from the light-dependent reaction to make glucose. So the product of one is used as the reactants in the other to kind of start up the whole cycle. So in the light-dependent reaction, chlorophyll absorbs the sunlight and makes electrons. Those move, and the electrons then travel through protein and also move hydrogen ions with them. They repeat this process over and over again, and then transfers all that into NADPH, which the Calvin cycle uses in its reaction. Hydrogen ions are then moved back to the stroma from a high to low concentration, and this makes ATP. And that was the light-dependent reaction. In the Calvin cycle uses ATP and NADHP. In this cycle, water splits, making electrons and hydrogen ions as well as oxygen. They use this cycle to use up the energy from the light reactions and make carbon dioxide into glucose, which is used as the plant's energy to just thrive. Carbon fixation occurs in the Calvin cycle, and then the reduction process happens. And after the reduction process, then is the regeneration process, which is when the sugars made in this process are kind of reused to make more molecules, and then the whole cycle just keeps on starting up again and goes on and on. I think one thing for me that I struggled with the most was all the different molecules and understanding how they all tied together and what they were used for in the Calvin cycle. But the more I read and the more I kind of understood by diagrams and everything, then I got a better idea on how it all went.